Welcome. Welcome to today's 1025. Here we are on May 12th, and we still don't have baseball. And I confess to you, I really miss baseball this spring. And since I so miss baseball, I'm going to share another baseball story with you today. Because John Killinger tells this account in that great book that he's written on leadership. There was a manager of a minor league baseball team here that got so fed up with his center fielder's performance that during the middle of an inning of a game where the center fielder had misplayed a couple of balls, the manager himself went out to center field, ordered the center fielder to go back into the dugout, and the manager himself started playing center field for his team. For the manager was trying to show to his center fielder how to play that position properly. Well, the first ball that was hit out to center field was a screaming ground ball, and it hit a pebble or something and took a bad hop and came up and it hit the manager right next to his mouth. The next batter hit a high fly ball that the manager lost in the glare of the sun, and the ball came down and it hit the manager on his shoulder here. And the third was a screaming line drive that the manager misjudged. It went over his glove and rolled all the way to the center field fence. 3 hits, 3 errors, 3 runs scored. And so the manager, as the crowd was booing him, walked off the field and went into the dugout and said to that center fielder, "You've so messed up center field, I can't even play it myself." Now, not everything is as easy as it looks. Maybe you've had a boss and you've thought, I can do his or her job better than they're doing it themselves. Or maybe your child has had a teacher who you thought wasn't a very good teacher. Or maybe you think an elected official or our governor or our president isn't doing a very good job of running their position. Often we're all critical of somebody else's performance, thinking that we could do a better job than what they're doing, and then finding out their job is a whole lot tougher than it looks. Or maybe once you've had to fill in for your boss while they were gone on a vacation or traveling on a business trip, or maybe they were on maternity leave, and you had to step into that role. And you found yourself dealing with responsibilities that you've never had to deal with before. When that happens, we as human beings, we have to face 2 choices. We can either swallow our pride and admit that their job is a whole lot more difficult than we originally thought, and thus we can give them our respect, our admiration, our gratitude. Or we can choose to ignore the obvious and continue to play that blame game ourselves. Some of us do this with our bosses or our coworkers. Some of us do this with our spouses. Some of us do this with God. At times, we'd rather be the God of our own lives. We'd rather make our own decisions. We'd rather blame God when things don't turn out the way that we desired. Thus, God speaks to us through the Apostle Paul as he writes to us in 1 Thessalonians. In chapter 5, we read this. Let's read these words together. Respect those who work hard among you, who are over you in the Lord and who admonish you. Hold them in the highest regard in love because of their work. Live in peace with each other. Hold them in highest regard in love. Not hold them with some respect or hold them with a certain amount of admiration here. No, hold them in the highest regard in love. Why? Because God has placed them there. Think about this the next time you're not appreciating someone in authority over you. Remind yourself that God is in control and God has placed each of us in the positions in which we're in here. And instead of being critical or discouraging or rebuking them for mistakes that they're making, now follow what our Lord did here. Live in peace with them and be thankful that God has given us these positions in which to live in. May God grant this to you in Jesus' sake. Amen.